level bronze, silver play and try to give some tips to players and just kind of make it fun and entertaining for everyone.
Yeah, your channel's really blowing it up too. It's like, because, well, you can put out regular content, good content. So it's pretty exciting to see. Guys, there's $300 on the line in this qualifier. Top 4 make it to the $1,000 global finals next weekend. They will meet Nurchio, Apocalypse, Byun, and Bly, as well as Polt, Violet, Solar, Jokchi, and more to be announced. So yeah, that's a lot at stake here, not just in this event, but what will then come next weekend as well. Not to forget, cannot neglect to mention this. Again, actually, we're heading to game number 2, by the way, guys. We're actually in the lobby about to start. But I'll throw it out there. There is an Archon show match, a Gauntlet S2, Legacy of the Void Gauntlet show match next weekend as well. It'll be during the global finals of Red Bull Archon mode champions Huck and MC versus Masa and Violet. So that's exciting to watch. Some high-level Archon play. I truly believe Archon mode is the future. There is so much potential in what it can do. Not just the level of play, the excitement, the a sense of like a team sport more than StarCraft's traditionally had. So I love watching Archon matches. Some of those difficult things to cast. And
yeah, just looks. Well, I was just going to say, Archon mode is hard to cast because there's so much going on. 2 players controlling each of the teams here, which means one person can be scouting, one person doing macro back home. There's so much more micro management and multitasking able to be done by these guys that it's just insane. The APM's like 600 per team. It's crazy.
Ridiculous. All right, guys, we're into game number 2 of Senin versus Sensei. To the north, we have the purple Zerg. Up 1 game, it is Senin.
And to the south, we have the blue Zerg player. Down 1 game to 0, it is Sensei. Throwing out the good luck, have fun.
Well, Sensei tried a powerful 1-base Speedling Bane all-in. It didn't work, so therefore he made it not all-in and took an expansion. Recovered quite nicely, but was unable to deal with the Roachling push that Senin had on plate for him. Very well done.
Again, we don't know who Senin is, but their ZBZ is really solid. I would not be shocked if this is somebody smurfing under a different account. We just don't know who it is.
I don't know. It's not likely. It's through ESL, so they have to go through like kind of at least a process. So if it's Senin, it's likely that's his name. And since there's also his Grandmaster account as well. So, but we'll see. I'd like to see more of this guy. But that's what these events are about. Oh, look at this. With Sensei, we can have a... well, he is taking a hatch this time at least, but getting his speed nice and timely. Both players APM, nice and pro-like.
Yeah, it's about, what, 270 plus for both players? Pretty much insane.
So that's about how much I have usually.
Oh, yeah.
No big deal.
No, I'm like 280. Yeah.
Oh, no way.
Totally. All right, so there's actually some StarCraft happening here. So both players do have their spawning pools up now that Sensei's has just popped. Senin a little bit earlier, actually, than his opponent this time around. So perhaps has some aggression on his mind. Extractor up, getting harvested immediately with those 3 drones. 3 drones is the magic number.
Yeah, they could turn on. They could hit that aggression switch at any point in time using this sort of build. But this is a very standard Zerg opener in ZVZ, especially. So it's safe, but allows you the option to choose aggression depending on what you scout. And right now, both players are going to see that they have a very similar openings, and nothing crazy is happening on either side of the map.
Yep, just some Ling scouting around, just making sure nothing untoward is happening, recognizing there is an expansion hatcheries for Sensei is very nice for Senin to see. Actually killing a couple things there. Can his Zergling escape? We'll have to wait and see later for that one. And indeed, it cannot. The queen takes it down. Speed on the way for Sensei. Senin is just continuing to make queens, overlords, drones, and there comes the first evolution chamber up for the purple Zerg.
Yeah, right now we have... what do we got building there? Actually, +1 ranged attack coming up for Sensei by the looks of it. Also, they're playing it safe with some spine crawlers going down too. Both guys playing super safe, maybe paranoid. I'd reckon. We got some evolution chamber going down for Senin as well. Yeah, you said lair for Sensei too, teching up both players, but diverging in their tech paths as extra gases go down for Sensei. He's taking, in fact, all his gases off 2 base. No sign of a 3rd base for either Zerg player.
Yeah, 2 base with all 4 gas tells me some 2 base aggression is definitely in the planning here for Sensei. And we'll see what happens when that lair pops up. Those 3 extractors are going to finish right now, and that +1 missile on the way for Senin.
Yeah, Senin seems to be playing like super safe, paranoid, blocking off his ramp, almost seemingly expecting some sort of bust to occur. But I think, if anything, it's just safe, standard play. If you play enough ladder games, you're going to start playing in this style too, because you could die to absolutely anything, especially ZVZ. Things happen so fast, leave it unscouted for even a moment, and the game could be over. But none of those sort of shenanigans are happening or coming out of Sensei as he takes his third base and is taking up with a Spire.
Yeah, Sensei going for the Spire like he did in the last game. Did not work for him in game number 1, but perhaps he'll have better luck here in game number 2. Roach Warren just about to finish for a Senin, and that +1 missile attack, speed, lair, I mean, just everything that you need for a pretty standard Roach play coming out from our Purple Zerg player who is up 1-0 in the series.
Yeah, both players taking their third bases. Economic openings to start and to continue through towards the mid game here as Sensei sends some lings across the map, try to assert some map presence of his own, maybe put the a little bit of fear into Senin's little quivering heart, but Senin doesn't seem like that kind of guy. He seems pretty calm, cool, collected, and prepared.
I was going to say, are you implying that Senin has a quivering heart?
No, it was more of a artistic merit, okay?
Fair enough. Artistic license in casting, everybody's favorite.
Yeah.
Speedling's trying to kill some stuff, but those slowlings and roaches are enough to chase them away. There's no way they can kill enough to make it cost effective. Trying to maybe bypass them. More lings are coming up, swinging around that right side, and Spire pops. And immediately for Sensei comes out. Nothing.
Yeah.
Oh man, I was trying to call the mutas.
Yeah, well, Senin right now is moving across the map, going for the big roach punch to the face, as he's going to try to get in there before any mutalisks pop out, as 10 mutalisks are in production for Sensei. This is a nice timing by Senin, clearly well planned out. He did this in previous game and other games that we've seen. Gets there before the mutalisks get in a healthy number enough to take out the roaches before the whole economy of the Blue Zerg dies. And we'll see if Sensei can kill these roaches and lings before he loses his own economy.
Yeah, having the spine crawlers up is nice. That delays the attack by just a little bit. Links right on top of that queen, fires immediately and dies. Again, roaches right in the middle of this mineral line. The drones desperately trying to work as best they can despite the harassment, and all the roaches get cleaned up a lot more quickly than I expected. But more lings streaming across the map to get the second queen.
Another roach attack moves into the main base of Sensei, trying to pick up some workers, at least moves them off the mineral line, so denied mining time there as Senin rises above in workers with 59 workers versus 44 of Sensei. So it looked like it failed pretty hard there, but his follow-up attack, distracting with the lings in the natural, running some roaches into the main, really split Sensei's attention apart, and he was unable to cope with that properly as he's down 10 workers right now.
And Senin producing 8 spore crawlers at once, recognizing that muta count was high. You need more than 1 spore crawler per base to handle that number of mutas. Exactly what Sensei or Senin is trying to do, and it should work out pretty well for him, I think.
Yeah, Senin's trying to get up economically as well, and dropping these spores will enable him to not die, and that's key when against mutalisks. That's a pretty big deal.
Goal number 1, don't die. Goal number 2, get your economy up.
Yeah. Well, he's healthy on 3 bases too, so I think just not losing any workers or many workers to these mutalisks will keep him ahead at this moment, economically and tech-wise. Now, as he's dropping an infestation pit, that's what he's buying time for at the moment by putting up these spines, and that will ultimately allow him to move across the map versus these mutalisks. Otherwise, you're often stuck in your base if you don't get those infestors, those ever-valuable infestors.
Yep, there's no way you want to run your roaches across the map while mutalisks are just raining fire down on their heads. They will die before they get there, but with some infestors and hydralisks, you can make it across fairly safely. Yeah, Sensei is getting a hive at this point, as well as melee upgrades, melee attack level 1, and carapace level 1 coming out for Sensei as well.
Yeah, both guys using getting the upgrades for each decided tech path. Like the map presence, with the mutalisks, despite them not being able to do any economic damage, they are containing Senin right now. He cannot move out until infestors with pathogen glands are out right now. Actually managing to, being so bold to try to take out one of these spore crawlers is Sensei, getting some pretty low health mutalisks for his troubles. Actually manages to get out an extractor as well, which is a big deal. Off 3 base right now for our Purple Zerg player. All the while, Sensei is taking his 4th base. Interestingly enough, not taking at the traditional 4th place placement. 4th base placement, I should say.
4th base place.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah, that Muta attack was okay. Killing the Extractor was very nice, but definitely brought a lot of his Mutas down to low health. And some sneaky changelings try to get on in, but the roaches sniff them out immediately. Sorry, Ling. Not your day. And then Overlord trying to scout as well. Gets taken out by a Queen. Adrenal glands being researched by Sensei. And an Ultralisk Cavern coming up. We're going to see Ultras with Cracklings coming up from our blue Zerg player very shortly here. Upgrades looking okay, but once again, getting +1/+1 on those melee units is a little bit too late at this point. When the Ultras pop, they won't have the upgrades that they need to be extraordinarily tough and almost invincible in certain situations. And maybe not as scary as they could be to Senin in the later game.
Oh, these Mutalisks are playing with fire as these Infestors are just out of their range right now. He's looking to cancel the 4th base of Senin is Sensei, but these Infestors, I think, with the Hydralisks in tow, will prevent any shenanigans happening from Sensei. He's playing with fire, actually. They're so close to getting fungled. A fungal does whiff. Yeah, very nice dodge indeed. But he's going to take his 4th, though. He's going to get it.
Yeah, I mean, most likely. The fungal growth is dodgeable. I mean, at this point, Mutas are pretty fast and get out of the way. I'm just not sure. With some really, really good focus, amazing control of those Mutas, they might be able to take it down, but I'm not sure if it's quite worth the risk at this point.
Yeah, again, as we mentioned previously, the 4th base is up and running for our Blue Zerg Sensei right now, too, just because these Mutalisks alone prevented the 4th base from getting up for Senin, forcing Senin to tech up with Infestors, get pathogen glands, and then push out to get its 4th. So the economy for Sensei is quite a bit superior, as we see in the worker count. He's 11 workers ahead right now. Ultralisks, as I said, upgrades aren't quite ideal, but nonetheless, Ultralisks are out there and a pretty good tanky unit with his economy to support it. I really like Sensei's position right now, but it looks like Senin's not going to have any of it and going to push across this map while he can. You cannot let this Ultralisk number get too high and the upgrades get too crazy. Otherwise, you will get run over.
Chitinous plating is on the way. That's not a very long upgrade. It does give additional armor to those Ultras, and the Ultras might get caught out of position here. Oh no, Senin actually pushing back, splitting up, trying to get a good concave on in, throwing down infested Terrans. Able to absorb some of that damage. The Ultras right on top of everything. Ling swinging around from the backside, going after those Infestors. Corrosive Bile being thrown down as well. Oh, the Lings get caught with a fungal bot. Oh, fungal completely destroyed there as well. The Ultras are still alive. Continuing to push forward into this group. The Roaches are stutter-stepping their way backwards. Ultras are falling with acid saliva burns all over their bodies and finally forced to retreat.
Yeah, very good engagement from Senin overall. He uses fungals and the corrosive bile to great effect. In the ZVZ is not something we see too often. The Ultralisks, low in health as they are, have no support, no queens to heal them, are forced to pull back, and right now control is in favor of Senin, as well as supply, as he's nearing maxed out. I'm not sure, does he know about that 4th base? I don't know, does Senin, but...
checking the map, he does not. Nope.
Yeah, I'm surprised he's not attacking that right now. Either way, he must be kind of surprised to see Ultralisks on the field off 3 base. But now that he sees these reinforcements coming in, I think he knows that there must be a 4th base towards the west of the map.
I don't know. He's not really moving that way. He's not sending any Lings to scout over either. He was happy to kill the 3rd. He's basically going to try to kill what he can while he goes back home. And yeah, not sending anything the way to make sure that there's not a sneaky 4th base up there. That might be a mistake there from Senin.
Yeah, this has managed to at least push Senin back, is Sensei, but he doesn't want to overextend either. Again, these Ultralisks are scary, but they have less than a quarter health on most of them, and this with the Corrosive Bile plus Hydralisks to really deal the heavy damage that they do, these Ultralisks are not going to be long for this world at this point.
Viper's coming up for Sensei as well. He'll have those in just a minute here. Corrosive Bile is being thrown down, doing 60 damage to those Ultras. Not the best use of Corrosive Bile I've ever seen, but still not too terrible either. And just the dancing back and forth. Once again, Senin, you're so close. Just send somebody up that ramp. Recognize there's a base there. You can probably go kill it. But the longer it stays there, the more Sensei might be able to stay in this game.
That being said, the 3rd base is gone for Sensei, so he's still on 3 bases as well, as the 4th is now mining for Senin himself. So Senin's just picking off one Ultralisk at a time. As he's kiting back, he can afford to replace these roaches, no problem at this point, knowing that the economy of Sensei is likely, suffering greatly. Although it's not suffering as greatly as he assumes it is, considering he does not know about that 4th base.
Vipers using Consume on the hatchery for Sensei. I'm not... Blinding Cloud, I guess? Is that what he's going to use them for? Or it has to be. I don't know what else he could do in this situation.
I'm not sure how good... Blinding Cloud is interesting. Against range units, pretty good. But there's nothing to keep the roaches there. No fungals available. No. So it's not exactly the most ideal situation, considering that Senin is using his army as a very mobile kiting army. You absolutely needed a fungal for this. This engagement is not going in favor of Sensei, as now Senin finally realized something's up. These units are coming from somewhere. He has found that somewhere and looks to take out this 4th base of Sensei.
Getting the extractor was a nice job using kind of the high ground advantage here to kill these lings. Good micro. Corrosive Bile actually landing on that ultra,
Very
helping
nice.
to take it down. And the ultra does end up falling. There are 2 more left, but it's 187 to 116 total supply in favor of Senin. Just the eternal kite on these ultras. That's how you counter ultralisks, everybody. Kite them, hit them with ranged units, don't let them get into your face, and you'll probably be in a good spot.
Yeah, don't hug an ultra. That's how you beat an ultra right there. And that's exactly what Senin seems to be doing. Kiting back these roaches, controlling like a boss, macroing as well behind all of this, taking a 5th base that is up, not running, but it's using it for production. GG is called, and Senin takes the game as well as the series 2-0. Again, ZVZ is this guy's big skill, it seems. I'd love to see his other matchups, to be honest.
I was going to say, I'd love to see him against a Protoss or a Terran, which I hope we will later on in this tournament, because he's winning.
Yeah, that is pretty crazy. I don't know. I love that sort of thing. Let's check out some of the results on the bracket here. Let's hit the old refresh button, as we've had 2 exciting ZVZ series so far, and I really like the direction it's going. Started off aggressive in the first game, defended again by Senin, and he managed to push back and ultimately kill Sensei. But let's see here. What do we got results-wise here?